I want to say to all the married couples that you've got to be full-hearted. Whatever it is you do, you got to be in it 100%, because sometimes you can be making love, your body's in the bed, but your mind is on the other side of town. Or if your heart is blocked with unforgiveness or resentment, it ain't gonna go too well. It's like the old song that Atlantic Starr used to sing back in 1985 when we were some youngsters. But they say, it's a fragile situation. What? It could fall apart at any time. let's get to the bridge. It says, if your heart isn't in it, why can't you tell me so? If my heart wasn't in it, I'd have gone long ago. Okay, we can't say. But what we're trying to say is your heart has to be in this thing.
Yes.
The only thing that has sustained Rhonda and I for 30 years is our heart was in it. We had the foundation of friendship. We had the foundation of love. And yes, we've been through some peaks and been through some valleys, but it's the love, our hearts. We've had to learn how to forgive, right?
Yes, yes.
If you hold on to unforgiveness, it causes the heart to grow cold. Did you hear what I just said? Many of us are in relationships where our hearts have turned to stone, a stony indifference, because you have refused to let go. You've got to learn how to release that anger, release those grudges. We were talking to our coach today, Coach Amina, and she was talking about how genetically, African Americans, we carry trauma from our ancestors. Things that's been passed down subconsciously through the genetic code. And some of those things can play out if we don't address them.
But the thing is, sometimes we don't know that we're carrying trauma in our body. So being aware of that and having that know-how to help work through that trauma, to minimize the trauma, to get healing from the trauma, not just to stuff it under, but to get healing from that trauma. That's when true relationship and heartstrings connecting is no other way to describe that.
Trauma is when development is being interrupted. And somewhere in the relationship, your relationship was interrupted with some kind of trauma. And it could be, babe, that some women, some men had trauma introduced to them before they got into marriage. And if that trauma is not addressed and going back to that place of interruption, and you got to pick up on what was interrupted. So if, for example, if somebody was in some kind of abusive situation as a child where they were sexually molested and their innocence was interrupted, you got to go back and give them the agency and the power to have control to say no or to say yes over their sexuality. And a lot of times women get, as you said, armored because they never learn how to say no or to say what they wanted. And the power of the no also leads to the power of the yes.